In this video, I talk about mediumship. I share a few instances of how mediumship has enhanced my life and continued my relationship with some past loved ones, and actually helped me to personally develop and to receive some comfort in difficult times. So stay tuned. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Charmed Life YouTube channel. This channel is all about magic, metaphysics, mysticism, and the unconditional love of the universe. And my name is Tricia Carr, and I'm your host here. And this is an excerpt from my podcast, Charmed Life, my Charmed Life with Tricia Carr podcast. And I've actually designed it in a way that would kind of help you to induce into a specific mood for attunement, for a mediumistic attunement, to be able to feel all of the wonders that we can experience by connecting with our past loved ones. And so what I mean by that is that you're going to, if you watch this video, you're going to see beautiful stock imagery that is kind of inducing you into a state of inspiration. And it helps you to make yourself really porous and open in a spiritual sense. And it's quite lovely, I might say. So I hope you enjoy this. And as you head into it, I also want to invite you to like, subscribe, share, comment, and click the little bell so you get notifications for when I post more videos. And also, let you know that I'm on Instagram, and that I'm going to also tell you in this video about the upcoming workshop as I am speaking right now, as this is being published, that is on mediumship. It's called The Mystical Medium. I'm teaching it live. It is presented by Lightshine Spiritual Academy. And so I'm gonna give you a little explanation, a little advertisement about that, and then we're going to head into the mediumship section. And I hope you enjoy it. Hey there, friends in spirit and love. It's Tricia Carr here, and I want to invite you to a magical workshop called The Mystical Medium. The Mystical Medium is a live 2-day workshop designed to connect you to the other side. I'm teaching this workshop, so I want to share a few ways that mediumship is a powerful gift and blessing in my life. Well, personally, developing my mediumistic abilities helped me to have a deeper, more precise communication with my spirit guides. In conjunction with my meditation practice, mediumship has been key in helping me to hear, see, feel messages and guidance from spirit. Second, having a connection to my past loved ones is such a comfort, to say the least. By carrying on my relationships with those who have moved into eternity, well, I feel like I'm living more eternal and free. And finally, as a professional medium, being that channel for others and their past loved ones with evidential, unmistakable details, this has been such a humbling and truly mind-blowing experience, and I tell you, it is that every single time I experience it. So I hope you will check out the Mystical Medium Workshop. It will be offered live December 4th and 5th, 2021. The Mystical Medium is presented by Lightshine Academy. Visit class.lightshineacademy.com/mediumship. Learn more and register. Spirit is waiting. And now I want to talk about mediumship. Mediumship is often associated with connecting with past humans. And yes, that is a sort of fundamental way that we utilize it. And that's actually, I'm going to share a couple of stories about that. And well, I'm going to share a story about a past human. I'm going to share a story about past animals. Anyway, past discarnate beings. How about that? Mediumship, though, I say I'm a multidimensional medium, and that's usually when I do a longer intensive, or like in the intuitive intensive, we talk about it a little bit. The intuitive intensive, the registration will be opening up for that probably in a couple of weeks. It'll be in December, I think, of 2021, and we'll begin in January of 22. So keep your eye out for that. And then, of course, I have told you about the mediumship workshop, The Mystical Medium, so you can check the link in the description for that. And we will be focusing on discarnates in that workshop. We'll be focusing on the relationship with past loved ones, but also guides. And, some of those are one and the same. I called it your pantheon of guides, those who are helpers in spirit. And so, multidimensional mediumship is about connecting with also other dimensional beings, individuals, individual expressions of source. And so that could be angels, or interdimensionals. And of course, I have a strong connection with the Fae and elemental realms. And, that's all to me kind of a part of the same tuning. Tuning meaning the tuning of mediumship. Mediumship is tapping into different energies to have the communion or communication. And I really, tuning, the other way I use that is because to me with multidimensional mediumship, it's like changing the radio dial and the spectrum of the different radio signals that you would tune into, like animals, past animals versus past humans. And then, of course, in the incarnated world, the telepathy, it's all telepathy, but the telepathy that you would have with animals or elements of nature, trees, all of these, and of course, humans, with the telepathic communication with humans. And then switching the dials to the spiritual realms, like the past humans and animals, and then, of course, angelic, archangelic, interdimensionals, and oh my goodness, the the ecosystem of spirit is so prolific. We can't even map it completely. So that's how I feel and experience mediumship. And mediumship was this, well, in a sense, you could say it was my first gift that I opened, but it's, I guess, technically my second, because my first gift that I opened in my metaphysical awakening was animal communication. And synonymous with animal communication is animal mediumship. So I was communicating with past animals. And then I started to open up mediumship, which included, humans and other kinds of beings of spirit. So I find it to be powerful and useful and just magical. It is magic. So I wanted to share a couple of stories with you about how mediumship has been blessing me lately. This is kind of like, it's similar to intuition, but having the actual visitations and conversations. And the first story, it's both the intuition and it's mediumship, because, well, I had a visitation while I was sleeping. The visitation was some of my past animals, 2 of my birds and 1 cat. And it was an astral dream, like an astral projection. And it was a prophetic dream as well. Well, it was a visitation, an astral projection, and it was a prophetic dream. And I didn't know it was prophetic until, the prophecy came to fruition. So my animals, his name is Aramis, and I call him Ami. That's my cat. And then I had my shale bird, which is my cockatiel, and her partner, his name was Fabi, and he was a parakeet. And the dream, encompassed an interesting scene where I was panicking and feeling guilty about them and how I treated them and whether they were healthy or whether they were, okay, yet they were totally fine. But I was still like panicked. But then they were sort of comforting me. And then I just got to spend this realistic, because it was such a deep visitation on the astral plane, this realistic visit, just loving them so deeply, each of them individually, spending time with Aramis, spending time with Shale and scratching her little head, and spending time with Fabi. And I'm living it right now. And I woke up and, I was still feeling like, gosh, I felt all this guilt, but yet it was a positive dream. It was like a positive visitation. It was interesting. I didn't really know how to, what to think about it. And then, of course, it explained itself in the physical life a few hours later when I fed my current birds. I have 5 birds. I fed them and said hello to them and all that kind of stuff. And then about midday, it was about midday, I went to talk to them again, to hang out with them, and one of them had passed away, Basil. Basil was his name. He was a parakeet. There are 5 parakeets, and there was no trauma. There was nothing that had happened to him. Now, I don't know how old Basil was. He had been with me for about 3 years. My friend had found him on the side of the road, like, off a sidewalk in a cage with no food or water in the dead of the valley heat here in Los Angeles, with like 100-degree heat. And she, found him. They took him in, and he lived with their family for, I don't really know how long. To my memory, maybe it was a year, maybe it was less. And, when she's like, oh, you have birds? And, I said, yeah. And she said, oh, we have a bird too. And I don't really know what to, she was kind of like, we've never had birds before. I don't know. And she showed me a video of him, and I could sense that he really needed a colony. He needed a flock. And I had a flock. I had 4 birds. And so she's like, yeah, take him. So I brought him home, and he was so instantly happy, really shifted his behaviors right away. And the way that he had wound up in the situation from which my friend rescued him on the side of the road there. Well, he had a partner, he had a bonded partner, and that partner passed away. And somehow the humans just didn't want anything to do with him anymore because he became louder and more erratic without his partner. And I don't know what that plan was. I guess they just decided he could just die on the road, but he was rescued and he came to my home. So that's how I have no idea how old he was. As I tapped in, it just, and talked, I just really felt into the scene. It just seemed like his little heart stopped. It was very sudden, although it was about a month leading up to that where I had noticed that he was napping a little bit longer and a little more than usual. And so I think what it seems to me is that maybe his heart had really started, but he had about a month where his health maybe was shifting, and kind of had only a month of old age, which is kind of great. And so my sweet animals who had visited me the night before were helping me to process the guilt that I always feel when an animal passes. It was like a preemptive support. And they also come, because they are in my soul group, and they come and they meet the animals in my life who pass on, and they support them and carry them to the other side because we have this connection of being family. Now, as I said, it's mediumship and it's intuition. It's intuition because, well, what's funny is the other things that had happened was I had planned in Mystic Arts Academy to do 2 channeling sessions, one with Archangel Azrael, who is the angel of transitions, called also the angel of death, but it's not like a bad thing. He helps us to transition to the other side. And then Archangel Jeremiel, who is, helps us with the life review process, both after life and also at any time we need it during life. Well, I'd had to postpone the Archangel Azrael class because I was ill. Yes, that's right. I'm trying to remember. Because I was ill. And of course, I had planned it like 2 months before. And the Azrael class ended up coming 2 days after Basil passed away. Wow, what a support. And St. Francis came through very strongly in the Archangel Azrael channeling session as well. And it was really, really beautiful. And one of the members of the Mystic Arts Academy, Cheryl, I'm not going to say her last name just in case she doesn't want me to, but I think she'd be comfortable with me saying her first name. She sang to us in the class. She sang us the prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. And I'm living that right now too. It's so beautiful. Make me a channel of your peace. So that's how mediumship can help, and intuition as well. Sometimes we think that we get psychic premonition or intuitive premonitions because we're supposed to do something about it, but that's not always the case. It doesn't mean we're supposed to stop something. Basil having a full and complete life and simply exiting this plane, there wasn't anything that I was to do about that. Of course, his life is going to have a cycle. So I didn't get the prophetic dream so that I could stop it. There wasn't a way to stop it. It was just so that it was, sometimes it's not it's just that you're in the energies of it because you're in the subtle energies. So you're feeling, it's almost like you're smelling it as it approaches. You're smelling it in spirit. Your spirit is smelling the energies. And so, you'll just be aware of it, even though you don't know that you're aware of it until the event happens. But it doesn't mean you have to shift or change anything. But there's this beautiful, it's like a grace container that's opening in advance. because you're getting to process it in advance of it even happening. And of course, in this specific case, I had my past animals who were guiding me, supporting me, loving me. And like, while I'm feeling guilty they were just showing me, no, we are well, and there's no reason to feel guilty. I cried and cried with Crystal on the phone about it. And she's, says, there's no animals in the world who are treated better than yours. And I'm like, I know that's, of course, what anyone would say. And yet, as a guardian of someone, every parent in the world can relate to this. I'm always wondering if I fell short. But in reality, and I think that's just my integrity. Maybe it is my shadow. It's my ego judging. And so as I ascend above that, I realize that all is well, and we're all doing our best. And Basil chose me, and I chose Basil, and I'm so grateful for it. And shifting gears a little bit, just to share one more story of mediumship, and that is, I had a dream about my dad last night. And, I don't dream about I don't think about him that, I do. I guess I do think about my dad, but he's not as much a center point of my shadow work and my ancestry work, because I lived with my mother through my whole adolescence, and we separated from my father when I was about 11. And so I have a lot, I got a lot more ground covered with my mom. And, for most of us, a lot of us, mother is the primary caregiver. And my mother definitely was. And the primary caregiver is your first partner in life. And so she is the archetype of partner. And, I have dreams sometimes where it's my mother or it's Brian, and I can't tell the difference. It's both, or or they're shifting from character to character. And I have been having a lot of dreams about my mother lately, but not so much about my dad. So my mother is living still, and my father passed in 2016. And my dad visited in a dream last night, and it was really interesting. He was looking for my half sister. And we were all in a movie theater, some big movie complex, and he was looking for her. And it was, in a way, it was mundane, but as I'm telling you it, I'm like, there's not a lot to tell, but there was so much emotional energy in it, and he was, again, very real. It was what I understand from it is my dad now, 5 years past, a little more than 5 years past. He's moved through a lot of his life review, and he's starting to play with or practice making visitations and doing spirit guide work. And so I actually walked my father into the light. I crossed him over when he passed away. I mean, in spirit and, in the spiritual realm, not in the physical realm. And so I'm the one that he's coming to sort of practice, to see how, this spirit guide thing can work. And what I'm taking from this is that he's kind of asking me, how do I connect with his other daughter? And so I'm going to spend some time in meditation and talk to him about that. And as I feel him right now, he's listening, and I'm just feeling like an encouragement for him to keep up the good work, Daddy. But the reason this is something in the mediumship and the intuition part is because, it is a shadow working that is being offered with the, in alignment with that lunar eclipse energy. So we come full circle. He's also here to support me because I'm actually doing a lot of shadow work that involves my mother. And when I say that, it's not like I talk to my mother about it, because it's not her work, it's my work that I'm doing, but it has to do with, the relationship of mother and that's all of that from the childhood. And my father's here, actually, he's helping me with that and coming in at a time that is so strong. So, this portal is available for shadow working, and my dad is using it to be able to connect with me, and also to have me support him in continuing to connect as a spirit guide to my family. So mediumship is amazing. Intuition is amazing. And the moon is amazing. Well, that's what I have for you in this video. Everyone, I want to remind you again about like, subscribe, share, comment, and click the little bell so that you get notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Tricia Carr Charm. And if you're watching this at some time outside of November, December of 2021, check the Lightshine Academy website anyway, because you might find that workshop on demand. And we also can support you in many of the other programs that we're offering to be able to open your spiritual, intuitive abilities. And with that, thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.